Hi everyone, I'm Michelle and I'm a UX and accessibility consultant here at System Concepts. So we always find the annual Global Accessibility Awareness Day event provides a really helpful focus on accessibility. So we've created this short webinar to show you how you could start incorporating digital accessibility into your practices. And we thought the best way to do this would be to invite one of our clients along to talk to them a bit about digital accessibility. So I'm really thankful and thrilled to have Kirtika Bhuva here with me today. She's the UX and UI lead at John Lewis. So you've worked at John Lewis now for over 5 years, and you've played a key role in making the website and app more accessible and usable. And last year you also did a talk at the UXPA's Global Accessibility Awareness Day, which we're also showing a link to. So to start off with, could you tell me a bit more about what motivated you to become an accessibility champion at John Lewis?
So honestly speaking, it kind of just fell into my lap. I wasn't aware of it fully. I knew some parts of it, so colour accessibility, colour blindness. But yeah, it was basically a colleague of mine who was speaking about it, and both he and I went and started doing a little bit more research, and we wanted to implement it into a new project. So we did. We implemented it into that new project, and we kind of worked without having too much skill sets in it. And then we got a company to come and do the audit for us. They did the audit and it came back where we had a lot of issues, which was fine because then we started learning from it, and I really liked the fact that because the audit was there and it showed and it highlighted the areas that we needed to work on, kind of gave me that educational piece, which then resulted in me creating like little workshops for the company. So I wanted to share all this knowledge with people and just show them that it's not as scary as you initially think it is, which is what I thought. There's quite a lot to learn and it's quite overwhelming. So to make it easier, I tried to make it a bit more fun as well, so something a bit more relatable and something that I would enjoy doing as well. So I just incorporated a lot of sort of fun aspects to it. So for example, putting blindfolds on people and showing that information. Which was quite nice because then with every user you have to, when you're designing something, whether it be accessibility or non-accessibility, you have to think about the customer, and to try and put people into customers' places is a bit more difficult, so you have to try and create these personas for them so that they can have more relatable design solutions. So yeah, this is why I kind of went into that avenue. It was an accident.
Nice.
But it's a good accident.
Yeah, of course. And so is it through those workshops and stuff that you incorporated kind of digital accessibility more into the design and development process? Or can you tell me a bit more about kind of the things that you do to incorporate it in?
So there's various ways of doing it. It's not just one way we kind of do this now. So now the culture's changed where people, especially in the online product team, where people are thinking customer first. And this way, when you're sort of thinking about an idea, you think like various ways of doing something. And also we've got a nice new sort of platform now as well. So the structure of the sort of HTML content, for example, is nice and clean and it's more legible. So there's no room for mistakes, which is quite nice. So this whole sort of new culture has kind of got people thinking from development stages through to initial concepts, through design stages, and every single stage that we go through, if at some point someone goes, oh, this is not working, or can we sort of change this, or what about this idea? People are talking about it, and that's really nice to sort of see that as well. And everyone's learning from it. And we just want to get customers coming in and just testing it, and that's how we're sort of learning, which is quite nice.
That sounds really great. And it's nice to hear as well that you're kind of doing it at like all stages kind of throughout the process. Because like we found that like early discovery research as well is also quite important, especially with people with accessibility needs, because their like needs are so much more like unpredictable and stuff. So
What's quite nice as well is colleagues have actually said that they've got accessibility requirements as well, and something I never knew. Like someone I'm working with who's a designer is colourblind, and I was like, I never knew that about you. And she's like, well, we don't shout about it. And I was like, this is true. And it was only last year or the year before that I found out that I was dyslexic, and I didn't know that. So I kind of worked through industry not knowing that I had this. But it's quite nice now to know it. So when you know about something, it's easier for you to do something else for it.
I guess, and having more, I guess, empathy almost as well, for, like the different type of requirements and stuff. And having, I guess, people with different accessibility needs work on something also kind of, they bring a new perspective as well. That's really nice. So what are the key challenges that you faced with kind of incorporating digital accessibility into your practice?
As with anything, it's always going to be time, it's always going to be sort of budget, and to get the customers in to actually test what we want them to test. I think that's more difficult for us, especially in terms of the environment setup as well. So we may not have the right setup for customers to come in, although we can ask companies to do the testing for us. But then again, that involves sort of time and money. And often we're so busy with quite a lot of projects that we need to sort of work on, which in return is helping to improve the site or the product that we're trying to do.
So I'm sure there are lots of like inclusive features that you've seen and worked on in your time. Can you tell me about your favourite feature and a bit more about that and what you think is so cool about it?
So this is a bit of a funny one because it's not that cool. It's something I learned very early on from the first audit that we had was alt descriptions on images. And back in the sort of years when you were taught to add alt descriptions to images for SEO purposes, and the familiarity is just to keep copying and pasting. And what I learned was having the alt description with a title grouped together is not great for someone who's a screen reader, for example, because it's reading out the information twice. So I share this information with merchandising managers and teams, and they're like, this is great, it now saves us time and it saves us thinking time as well. That was quite nice because it sort of releases the pressure off them to get on with what they need to do, but without having to sort of harm the sort of experience for a customer.
So kind of streamlined it.
So it's a little one, but it's a nice one.
Nice little nugget. And if you could give just one tip for someone who's looking to kind of improve digital accessibility at their company, what would that be?
Very easy. It just depends on what they think needs improving, because very often you have something there, so it could be a product, and you might think that it needs improving, but how do you really know if you don't test it with customers? So I'd always say, if you've got that physical product, and just test it with customers first to clear up the assumption, and then start working from it there, because they're the best advisors for you.
So get it in front of someone who's actually going to use it. Great. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And sharing these insights with us.
Thank you.
So I hope that that's given you some ideas and takeaways on how you can start incorporating digital accessibility more into your work perhaps. 1 in 6 people have a recognised impairment and many more have temporary impairment, so it really makes sense to try and start considering accessibility early on and throughout the process. If you'd like to find out more about what we do, or if you have any questions, then please get in touch, because we're always really happy to hear from you and help out.